Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
You run with it. You got it.
No, you got it.
Okay, we are here with Kerriann Otaño.
Otaño.
Boom.
That's why I was trying to let you do it.
I was trying to interrupt you on purpose.
From Opera Delaware. So we're going to talk about several things, and even in the little bit of small talk that we've had kind of leading up to this formal interview, we found out some really cool information about you.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to kind of start to peel this onion over here, you know what I'm saying?
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Suddenly there was an onion. Yes, peel the
And
onion.
there was an onion.
Yeah. So could you start just by formally sort of introducing yourself and saying your specific job title and your specific, role here at Opera Delaware?
Yes.
Pacific. What's wrong with you?
Pacific.
All of it.
Pacific.
Yeah.
I'm
Both.
sorry.
Yes,
There you go.
and. We're very big on improv in opera.
Yes.
So I'm Kerriann Otaño. I'm the Vice President of Engagement with Opera Delaware. I started my position in July of last year. Before that, I was a professional opera singer for 10 years, and I lived out of a suitcase, and I traveled all over the world. I met all of my best friends doing it. My family got to see the world because of opera. But what I realized is that when I was performing that way, trying to be so vulnerable, trying to give all this emotion, if you're not connected to the community, it's like you're just singing at a wall, right? And so we as arts organizations need to connect our artists to our community. Even if the artists are only going to be with us for 4 weeks, we need to have a community built around the arts, and I think we can build that here in Delaware. I think it benefits the community. I think it benefits education. I think it benefits these artists who come to town and want to come back and keep coming back to our community. So I love being Vice President of Engagement. It's really dope.
I love it.
So you already opened my brain to something that I haven't actually consciously thought about, but the idea that you could improve any performance by having a genuine connection to,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, because we travel and we just go all over the place,
Yeah.
right? Another audience and another audience. But
Yeah.
if you're connected, it brings something different. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Very interesting.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we're starting with Opera Delaware, because we have this incredible space. We're here in the Opera Delaware studios. We have 3 floors. Up on the 3rd floor, we have this cute little observation room.
I've never been up there.
Right? Oh, we're going to
Go
check it
ahead.
out.
Yeah, okay.
This cute little observation room, so we can have parties up there with charcuterie and wine, and people can watch what's going on
parties
down
were in
here.
that room right there. I didn't get that
Listen,
room. Okay, go
because
ahead,
I
sorry.
just started here in
They
July,
like
baby. I just started.
Okay. Yeah, well, now I'm
We got
jealous.
the plug.
I'm getting back into this game again. All right, go ahead.
So what's great about being up there is that I think a lot of people are curious. I think
Yes.
a lot of people, they think they know what opera is or what ballet is, and they think it's not for them. Just because it's not introduced to us when we're kids,
Yeah.
it seems like culturally like it's for another group.
Yeah.
But if we all get to sit up in that observation room and we get to ask questions about what's going on in this space and we get to see how singers interact and then we get to meet the singers and have some little drinky drinks and hang out and get to know them, the singers are going to feel more comfortable performing in front of you.
Yeah.
They're not going to be scared. They're not going to be trying to be perfect. They're going to try to give art because they know the audience is their friends.
Yes.
Right?
I love
so
that.
we're trying to do that weekly events for our upcoming season to have little mixers here.
I love that.
And as a singer, you understand very directly what that would look like.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it makes perfect sense. How much of this whole sort of theory is your brainchild? You know what I mean?
Well, this
Be
is
honest.
what's so, I
Yeah.
love this question because I just came from an opera conference up in Pittsburgh. It was like the National Opera Conference, so it's all people from across the country. The amazing thing about opera, the amazing thing about my industry is that so many people like Brendan Cook, my boss, like Julia Cook, his wife. There are so many people in opera who came from singing, who came from the arts, who have this like deep understanding of what it means to be an artist.
Yeah.
And so we care really deeply about connecting people in this way and connecting with communities. In the arts, we are a nonprofit, we are underfunded, we are understaffed. That's just the reality of working in an arts organization. So we need that influx of that joyful energy, because these ideas are things that he's been kicking around for years.
Okay.
He's been like, okay, what if we bring opera out into the community? We need more support, and we need honestly, I will say what I bring is this energy all the time.
Right.
Then I'm like, I'm gonna come at you at a 10 and we're gonna get it cracking.
Absolutely.
But these ideas have been kicking around in my industry for a while. Singers have been talking about this for a while, about wanting to
Singers
connect
have been
with
talking
people,
about this too.
about wanting to connect with people in this way. Right?
I mean, Okay, let's have full disclosure here for mine.
I'm ready for it.
Before I annoy everyone, and especially you. Like, literally, my first professional singing gigs were with Opera Delaware.
That's right.
I started with Porgy and Bess.
Yes.
So things have changed a lot since I was here. I'm a lot older than I look. So it's really interesting to hear those changes. And I don't know, I think it's really cool because in as much as I'm happy with what I'm doing, I feel like I might have even sort of stayed in this specific lane a bit longer if that kind of thing was going on, because I'm very much a community person.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of this came from me from in 2018 when I was singing at the Metropolitan Opera.
Oh, you are a singer. A singer. Wait a minute, hold on. Well, that's a flex. That is a flex.
Can we keep her?
So, welcome to Delaware, you're not leaving. Go ahead.
Good. That's my plan. I'm not leaving. So I was singing at the Met. I had worked at the Kennedy Center. I had lived all over the place. It was so fun. There was so much joy. But when I was singing at the Met, I would get on the train every day. I would say bye to my mom and dad on Long Island. I would get on the train into the city, and I would cry the whole way in.
Oh.
Why?
And I was so positive. I was so sure that everybody at the company knew that I was not good enough to be there. And that the only reason that I got in was because, I'll be honest with you, they needed to hire more black and brown people. This is the narrative that was going on in my head.
Girl.
So I undervalue everything that I was bringing to the table. I undervalue myself. And I would wash my face and I would go into rehearsal and I would sing and perform. And then I would have panic attacks, right? But it was all hidden because this narrative that we wrap around artists is that you have to be a suffering artist. You have to be a struggling, starving artist. You have to suffer to make great art. And so artists put that on themselves and suffer and don't seek mental health care. They don't talk to people about their problems. They think that they're supposed to be, we think that we're supposed to be so grateful.
Wow.
Right? And how can you create vulnerable art if you yourself can't be vulnerable with the community and with the people that you're creating art with?
Right.
So for me, I like got through the performances at the Met. I went back to California where I was going to be starting a 4-production run. I was going to be with one company for the whole year, living in San Jose, California. They gave me housing, health insurance, salary, like
Health
great
insurance,
gig.
yeah.
Yes, you love to hear that as an artist. Health insurance,
listen.
mwah.
Yes.
Okay. And I said to my boss, I don't know what's going on. I can't phonate. I can't sing without crying. I can't sing without having a panic attack. I'm broken. You're gonna have to hire someone else. And this man, I will never forget him for my whole life, Larry Hancock, I love you wherever you are in this world. He said, if you leave here, do you have health insurance? And I said, no. And he said, do you have housing? And I said, no. And he said, well, then you don't leave here. He said, we're going to replace you on the first show. It's going to cost the company $10,000 to hire in another soprano, but you are going to spend the next 2 months getting help, going to a doctor, getting better.
What a good person.
An incredible
you don't
human
find
being.
people like that.
An incredible human being. And what happened in those 2 months is my entire understanding of like my purpose shifted because I realized that if I can create art vulnerably, if I can connect with people, if I can be vulnerable, I create art that is more meaningful. I sold more tickets for that company. I hustled and raised more money for that company. I was more invested in my community. I was more invested in the art that I was making. Everything, it all made me better as an artist, just being seen as a human being by the company that I was working for, being cared for.
So then how did you make that leap from there to here, you know? You know, because you've kind of solved this puzzle of how you can be a vulnerable artist and feel good.
Can I just want to acknowledge that, number one, you were bold enough and brave enough to even say something is wrong. Because a lot of artists won't say anything at all, and then next thing you know, they're in the headlines because they passed out on stage, or they're on a drug bender, or drinking, or...
And we wonder why, and it's because we expect them to just be happy sunshine, because all you have to do is sing. All you have to do is perform. Your life is easy.
Sing and you're good. And the fact that you were like, something's wrong, I need to tell them. You know, on top of what they were able to do for you. Like, I just have to applaud you for that.
Thank you so much.
That's a big step in itself.
Thank you so much. Well, I was ready to just walk away from it. And I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of singers who have just walked away for a myriad of reasons. And when they walk away, they don't want to come and watch operas.
Yeah.
They don't want to be opera donors. They don't want to advocate for opera. These are people who used to love it. But the industry rips that love away from us if we don't see each other as vulnerable human beings, if we don't allow artists to be human beings. So the good news is that after that 2 months, I sang better than I ever sang in my career.
Right.
I had so much fun. I was like so creative and connected with people, so open and trusting, in such a better place mentally. But I created a survey online and I gave it to all my singer friends that I've known from throughout my whole career. 500 singers filled it out. 90% of them had experienced symptoms of anxiety and depression when I listed what the symptoms are, and less than a quarter had ever sought any mental health care.
Wow.
Less than a quarter, because it's not normalized in our industry. So when the pandemic started, I said, well, I'm gonna go on a tour, and I'm gonna tell every student, I'm gonna go to every college, I'm gonna go like wherever people will let me talk, and I'm gonna talk about free and low cost and accessible mental health tools that artists can use and practice, so that when you go out on the road, it's not the first time you're having this experience, that you're prepared for it. And Brendan Cook here kind of like heard my war cry. I was working in Memphis at the time. And he said, I like what you're talking about. Let's come up here and talk. He had me come up to Delaware and stay for a weekend and showed me the city that he loves. And we just kind of spitballed on ideas that we had, and it was really inspiring. So Brendan Cook is the one who brought me here.
Thank you,
what
Brendan
an interesting, you know, way to cross paths. You know what I mean? That's a really unique way, especially I feel like in that field to merge. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's really cool and kind of organic.
I know this is kind of random, but it's on my mind. I know that it's opera singer. I never looked at opera singers as singers.
How?
Say more.
It was never like, when I think of singers, I think of pop, rock, like that genre. When I think of opera, I think of actor.
I get why you think actor. But
and I've never seen an opera in its entirety. I've seen clips, you know, and I've heard the music, and I know they're singing, but because I know of the theatrical part of it, I've never looked at it like...
Do you look at Broadway as singers?
Kind of. But there was a disconnect, and it's so funny because I'm just realizing now, like, oh my God, we're the same.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but...
I mean, when you see someone going, oh, that doesn't sound like singing. Like
It's not that. It's more so like the experience.
Yes, because of that, I blame it 100% on that disconnect. I think that we make opera singers, the goal is perfection. The goal is, like, I call it singing for ghosts.
I think
like
opera singers are like the gold, and then everything else is like beautiful and it's great, and you got the Grammys, and but when you're if you can say I'm an opera singer, you're untouchable.
Oh, I love you saying that. I find that because people don't see us as artists in the same way, they think of us like Van Gogh. They think of us like untouchable, like a separate echelon. We are people like y'all. I found out about this when I was in 9th grade. Some sweet little old lady said, let me tell you about opera. I said, what? Like, it opened up the world to me. We have to embrace people, and it's not just for one group of people. It's not a thing to be done perfectly. It's a thing for us all to create together.
So then, could you talk more about, because I'm pretty sure you're reasonably younger than me, even though,
Oh my God, I'm so young.
Yes.
I'm so young.
So,
Thank you for noticing how young I am.
I think as the generations, as you go sort of to the younger and younger generations, it seems like opera, it feels like opera's a little more distant as you get younger. So how did you connect to it? You know what I mean? Like, where was that space where you're like, oh, this is, like, in a world where you grew up and you're listening to pop music like everyone else, where did opera connect for you?
So I loved musical theater. I loved belting. I loved jazz. My dad was always playing music. He's completely tone deaf. I love you, Dad. I know you're going to watch this, and I know you're going to argue with me, but you are tone deaf, and you need to accept that about yourself.
She's trained. She knows.
I know.
But that means everything you sing sounds perfect to him. But go.
He is my biggest hype man.
It's a perfect note.
It's incredible. I love that. But I love doing like musical theater and singing just creating art with people. I
Yeah.
love like building community through the arts. And this sweet little old lady heard me singing in a musical once, and I was belting, singing really like kind of poppy and more like R&B, and then I would sing soprano one. I would sing the highest soprano part when the chorus would come in, and she was like, "Oh, I hear something. Do you want to talk?" And that's who I want to be to young people here in Delaware.
Oh, okay.
I want to say like, "I hear something in you.
Yes.
Let me introduce you to this thing that I love."
Yeah.
Let me not say to you like, "Oh, I can't believe you haven't heard of opera." Most people haven't heard of opera. Most people don't feel comfortable with it.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Let me take your hand and guide you through this, as I was guided.
Yeah. So I have a whole bunch of questions.
I
I'm
love
trying
questions.
to keep it back, but like, so I guess the main thing I want to focus on, and before I get way off track, is, how do we or you in Opera Delaware, I guess, really genuinely connect the music to younger people when you turn on Power 99 and it's Cardi B and all of the what's the electronic?
Yes.
Come on, what's it called?
The electronic people.
Auto-tune.
Yep.
Auto-tune. Lord have mercy.
Okay. I didn't know where he was going. I was like,
It's like, yes, electronic, you're
All
right.
the electronic, no, but like auto-tune, and when you know that there's so much of a filter in between what a real voice is versus what you hear on the radio. Like, how do you make that connection?
Okay, I love this question.
Yeah.
So I think that what we've all been missing as a society, as humanity, is because we have everything on our phone and everything at the touch of a button, we think we're connected to each other. I don't think that we are.
Oh, we're not.
I don't think that we're
I love
connected
that.
to each other.
You heard it here.
Okay. I think that the way that you connect with people is you go and experience art together and you talk about it and you
Yes.
go out to eat beforehand. So you come to, for example, with Opera Delaware, we have our opening night micro gala where we invite the community to come together for this red carpet photo shoot, for free champagne from Swig, for a little gambling. We play a little poker and blackjack. We get to know each other and have fun. Then we go watch an opera together, following that up with a post-show experience so that it's not just come and stare at art with us. It's come and experience art with us. Come and talk. What do you think this means?
Right.
Talk to our artists.
Yeah.
Hear about their story. I think that's what's missing, and so that's what I'm really pitching to young people. Also on the mental health kick,
Yeah.
I love to talk to young people about. I was on stage performing for 10 years with incredible anxiety and stage fright. That we as singers learn, you learn as artists, like how to navigate that.
Yeah.
So I like to talk to young people, whether or not they're going into music, whether or not they're going into performance, and I like to say, you're going to have to get up in front of your class and talk one day.
Yeah.
You're going to be nervous about that. Let's talk about techniques to get through that anxiety.
Sorry, I got it locked in. I got you. Yes.
This is the first of many. You understand?
No, 100%.
We're gonna do this a lot.
Yes.
What I love about what you just said, because when I was a kid, there were things that people wanted to introduce me to, that I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
That I had no choice but to go to because I was a kid and I just, the parents were like, you're gonna go do it. I love that you're able to introduce, you have opera, but you also know mental health is a real thing and talking to young people about it is a great thing. So now you have the opportunity to commingle the two.
Yes.
For these kids, like how when I was younger, I was introduced to things that I wouldn't normally, like, basketball or soccer or art club or whatever club, because my parents were like, go, and then you have those people who care and know how to talk
and
to children.
guide you.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, we need more of that guidance.
Yes.
We need more of that individual and patient explanation. I will tell you, I see a lot of times in opera, a problem with opera administrators and a problem with opera fans is that we will meet new opera people who will say to us, oh, I've never been to an opera, but I love Phantom of the Opera. Okay.
Sorry, yes, I got you. Yes.
And a lot of us will shut that down right away
Yes,
because
yes.
it's not an opera legally. Okay, I have to say, none of this matters, America. None of this matters. Art is what we make it.
Yes.
Opera is not a thing that was written 500 years ago and lives in a bubble.
Yes.
Opera is still being created today.
Yes.
Opera Delaware is workshopping new contemporary operas. I've seen operas about immigration, about transgender issues, about police brutality. There are operas that are constantly being...
There's one about a boxer right now.
Yes,
So I mean,
champion.
So
So why wouldn't... So I think, a friend of mine said to me recently, Andrew Lloyd Webber, who wrote Phantom of the Opera, the greatest greatest trick he ever played was convincing a generation of people that they love opera. They don't know that they love it. It's a gateway for you to connect with what I do.
Okay.
Right? It's not a stopping point to say, well, that's not opera.
Right.
Yes, and that is opera. Hamilton is opera. Anything that is music and storytelling straight through. Beyonce's Lemonade is opera. Fight me. Fight me.
So here's where I want to jump in, because this is kind of where I was heading. So, and I think this is an opinion. Two places where there's a lot of room to connect opera to the masses. I think that one place is, like you were saying, the fact that we are a very disconnected digital society now, and we use so many filters and microphones. You know, there's nothing more pure than hearing sound directly from here, directly to here, with nothing in between. You know, there's nothing. It's like, oh, that's connection. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't understand that good technique is good technique.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
my
it's
God.
just, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my
like
God.
either you're supporting your tone or not. Either you're tight here or not. And it's like the kind of sound that you choose to make versus, you know, singing is singing.
Yes.
You know, and
Communicating is communicating.
communicating is communicating. So, you know, the more that you guys can do that, in addition to whatever else you're working on, I think that will help, you know, because it's something that's not understood as much as it should be.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is, now, I don't know if this is correct, but I was watching this young girl singing opera on Facebook, and they were like, there's something hurts or whatever, and it's like a healing sound. Is that a real thing?
Yes, there are so many different frequencies that can elicit different changes in our body. It's actually really interesting. There's a lot of folks in music therapy and music healing that play with the different sound frequencies. I will say, I'm so glad you brought up Facebook, little kid opera singers on Facebook, because this is another thing that people will get like punchy about in opera, that they'll say, well, that's not opera. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. She's learning, she's training. We have to nurture curiosity in each other and not shut it down.
Sure.
Yes.
We have to nurture curiosity in each other. If you say to me, I love Phantom, or if you say to me, I love Beyonce, I love Lemonade, or if you say to me, I love this little girl who sings O Mio Bambino Caro on TV, I say, yes, and that's like what I do in the following ways, and this is why you'll have fun with me, right? It's all about connection. It's never about showing that we as opera know more. It's not about, for too long, it's been associated with being elitist. And I don't know if you can tell, but that's not really my vibe.
No.
And that's not really the vibe of this opera company that has existed for 75 years, you know?
Yeah. So what are some of the specific things at Opera Delaware that you're working on right now to bridge these gaps?
So right now, we got grant money from Laffy McHugh. Thank you, Laffy McHugh. Big shout out. We got this portable opera stage that allows us to go all around the state. So people don't have to come to the Opera House to have their first opera experience. They could have it at a fair, they could have it at their school, they could have it at the Wilmington Hope Commission, right? They gave us funding to go to 5 schools across the state of Delaware.
Okay.
Right? And I said, I'm new to Delaware, I don't know enough about these schools.
Perfect.
Let's make a nomination process. 40 nominations later. 40 nominations later, I'm saying we need to get more sponsorship for this.
Yes.
We need to get more funding for this because the community, the state is telling me that they want this. So we went to Cape Henlopen, we're on John G. Leach, Townsend. It's Mount Pleasant, Springer.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to all these great schools, and we get to curate different ways to interact with these students. We present the same high quality music, the same like A-house incredible singing, but we engage with them in different ways. When I'm talking to little elementary school kids about opera, it's different than the way that I'm talking to high school kids about mental health, right? And about how opera can tie into their life in a different way. Not a lot of companies in America can do that. Can go out into the community and make that kind of an impact. So
How come they can't?
It's not that they can't, it's that they don't want to. They won't.
It's more they don't want to, or they...
It's a liability.
It is, yes.
That is a liability in their eyes.
It is, it's scary too, and it can be intimidating for artists to go into a school and say, I'm gonna sing opera for you, for a bunch of middle school kids. You remember how you were in middle school? You remember that vibe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't, but...
So I never. She never was. Look at her. But like, we have to go out and connect with these people. So how can we do it? How can we meet them where they are? I think that this approach that we've cracked into with Opera Delaware, that they've been nursing since the pandemic started. They started doing pop-up opera during the pandemic before I got here. It's really all been about connecting with people, making them feel comfortable, because I don't think it's just about creating access to the Opera House. It's not about just giving people tickets.
Right.
It's about creating a sense of belonging and community.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There are no bad questions. Ask me whatever questions you want to ask me about opera. Like, let's have fun.
Yes.
Right.
I love that. And we actually ran into a performance at the Brandywine Festival of the Arts.
Yeah, we'll be there again this year.
Yes, and I remember hearing it, I was like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes.
You know, and it was so beautiful. And the fact that it was in the park and they had the pop-up stage. I was like, oh.
And
so
like
cute.
bubbles,
Yes.
and like a t-shirt
And it was
cannon,
funny.
and a prize wheel, and like, it's fun.
Yes.
We talk about a lot that opera is so fun for us, the people who make it, because we know all of that background stuff. Like, we get to spend all this time, and when people are just meeting it for the first time, we have to make an effort to show them all that fun, to welcome them in a way. So it's just been it's been so exciting to meet people and then see them turn up at the opera, see them turn up at the studio
Oh,
here.
so you have seen that.
To experience
That's
shows.
really great.
Yes.
I love that.
That's really
Students
important.
I went down to DSU to talk to them about being a performer, to talk to them about mental health. And then I want to say it was like 30 or 40 kids from DSU came up in a bus. That the school
love
provided,
that.
wearing their prom dresses, I said, how do you dress for the opera? You dress to be seen. You wear what makes you feel dope. You wear what you want to be photographed in. You have fun. It's not about being perfect, it's about being you.
Do you have sort of a vision for what modern opera should look like? Like, how do you, like, if you really look down the road maybe 5 years from now, here specifically, I guess, in Delaware, like, what would you like to see? You know what I mean?
I would like to see Delaware become a hub for contemporary American opera. I would love for it to be a place where artists gather to create new works.
I'm sorry, we have to.
Are we doing
We're
this?
done.
Are we doing this?
Interview over.
So,
But that's what we talk about all the time, is that this is a hub. Continue, please. I'm being dramatic.
Absolutely. So I think that one of the biggest struggles that we have with contemporary opera is that people will write these operas and we're all kind of siloed, right? A composer is writing the opera in their house, like with technology. The singers who get to work on it maybe only get a couple of days. What if instead we could gather here as a hub? We could do workshop readings of the librettos of new operas for audiences and get audience feedback, and so get audience buy-in already from the process of as the opera is being created. The audience is already invested in this process. We could workshop pieces here repeatedly, and then we could debut them.
I love that.
That is my dream for what the city.
I love that.
I do too.
I get that. That makes perfect sense to me. Yeah.
oh my gosh. So it's funny because when I was a kid, I remember I always had a love for classical music, and I remember hearing opera and thinking I could do that.
Yeah.
But I immediately put it out of my mind because
They don't sing.
How could I do that? Shut your mouth. You're such a child.
That's not singing, is it?
Sorry.
Yes, but also you don't see people who look like you, and so you don't, and it's not something you're taught in school, and so
No, I was like, oh, I'd never be able to do that.
So I'm giving you a hard time, but I totally
Yeah, you are.
And I'm doing, because that's what we do. But I will say this, and so keeping it 100%, part of the reason why I got away from opera is because you're making me really think about that move for me, was because I wanted to be more connected to my community, and I wanted to be in there doing something that they could really appreciate, you know what I'm saying? And I distinctly remember, like, and I have said personally that maybe it's been maybe about 5 years ago, I finally found my sort of real singing voice. And it took me a long time to kind of, and you'll know what I mean, but it took me a while to kind of get the classical technique out of my tone in a way that's like, oh, you should sing opera, but I still wanted to maintain my proper technique. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get why there's a disconnect, and that's why I'm really interested in how you guys are going to bridge the gap, because I know exactly what she means. I'm giving her a hard time, but you know,
That's why I'm in the middle.
But the ability to connect Rigoletto to East Side could be a big jump, except for when we consider some of Lord have mercy, my brain. Who's the black opera singer from Philadelphia?
Michelle Johnson.
No, she was one of the first. Like, oh, this is 100 years ago, before Leontine. I'm gonna look it up now.
Oh no.
Oh, y'all, hold on. Now I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
go
make us
crazy.
all look bad. You're gonna make us all
No,
look
no. The Black Swan. Oh, no, hold on.
I
You
know
should
you're gonna
know
say
this,
it, and
Jay,
as soon
'cause
I
you
should
sang
know it.
opera.
I should know it. I know as soon as you say it, I'm gonna go, oh, so embarrassed.
Y'all keep talking, because I'm gonna get this right now. Yeah, I'm serious.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea at all.
She was one of the best.
And I never, actually in school, they never took us on like a trip to see an opera. I literally,
You know what?
Marion Anderson.
Marion
Lord have mercy.
Anderson, one of the most important artists, truly of all time. Marion Anderson, I'm so
We're gonna
sorry.
edit that out.
Was from the blickety blackest black.
Yes.
So the idea in my head that it can't connect to East Side is absurd.
Yes.
It's just how you bring it.
Yes, it's how
get
you
it.
bring it.
Yeah.
I think that y'all are taking the very first step is getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first thing is like, okay, here we are. Now let's talk.
Yes.
You know, because you can't do it from behind a desk. You can't do it just from the interwebs.
No.
You got to get
well,
out
I keep
there.
saying you can't sell opera tickets from a billboard that says
Opera.
opera.
But here's the thing: you can't sell any tickets
you can't
that
sell
way.
anything that way. You have
You know,
to talk
you
to
have
people.
to connect. Like we were talking about this. Oh my God! Now I'm putting. Sorry, I love this. What were we saying on Monday about About Ezekiel?
Oh, yes.
What did we say?
That, I don't know what.
We
it was a lot.
literally
It was
said
a
that the
lot.
reason he was able to sell
Oh,
out
'cause he
his show
called-
at the
yeah.
Queen is because he did more than just put up a Facebook
Yes.
post and a
He rallied
flyer.
the troops.
He rallied his community.
Yes.
That's literally what he did.
Yes.
So
Yes.
again, same technique.
Yes. So this is how I'm trying to, like, with the pop-up opera truck, build our community. When we, in June, we're doing this like pop-up opera launch of our summer season, because the whole summer we don't do main stage operas at the Grand. We just do the pop-up opera performances up and down the state.
Okay.
So we're gonna launch it at Independence Mall.
Oh, nice.
It's a pop-up opera performance. We're gonna have the stage, family friendly. We're partnering with Swig, who's gonna host $15 wine tastings for the first 50 guests each hour.
Can we taste the same wine over and over?
You can
And
buy
over,
a glass
and over,
of it.
and over
you
and
can
over.
get a glass of it. Yes,
Okay, I just
go
wanna make
off.
sure. Okay.
And hear some beautiful music and experience this with your community.
Yes.
And play some games and play some trivia and I just want everyone to feel as comfortable in the Opera House as
Yeah.
I feel. I didn't feel that way immediately.
Yeah.
I felt that way because I made a family through opera,
Yeah.
and I want to welcome you to be a part of my family.
Yeah. I love that.
What do you love about opera?
So opera comes from the Latin word for all work. So when you were saying before that you don't think of it as a singer, you don't think of opera singers as a singer because they're also acting and there's so many other elements that are involved in it. That's what I love about opera. That in Traviata we had dancers from First State Ballet who did their own choreography, who created their own art. I love opera because opera singers are so trained and so smart, and opera directors have so many fresh ideas, right? And if we can all collaborate and do what opera is supposed to be, all of this working together, set design and wigs and makeup, 100 people in the orchestra. Think about how thrilling that is.
Yeah.
To go to a space in your community, a couple of blocks away from where you live, and watch 200 people make art for you live. What? Goosies. It's thrilling.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
get
Love
it.
it.
I
Yeah.
get it. I do feel like, as you're kind of making my brain run, like a parallel. I really view opera singers personally as like F1 drivers, because
What?
Yeah, I know.
We're getting fancy with it now.
But your tolerances are tiny. There's no tolerance for error. You know, I mean.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like the way that you have to sing and the way that you have to maintain your instrument and be shaped, like there's very little wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, and it's when I say rigid. I don't mean in a stiff way, but like you have to be razor sharp, and the smallest error will be detected and result in a change in your performance. You know what I'm saying? And that's how
You're
Epwin,
so
one
right.
tiny mistake.
Yes, and you're off the road.
You're off the road.
Right.
And now I see why God led me in different directions.
Yes.
Because the way my anxiety,
In my path.
because the way I act with the way I sing now,
Yes.
if I wasn't a child.
So that's how we were all taught, for sure.
Right.
That's the legacy that opera had, is there's a right way to do it and every other way is wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have seen what's happened in the last couple of years in this
No.
country, but we can make stuff, we can change things.
Oh,
We're
yes.
adults.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes.
I can decide what art is. We can
Yeah.
decide as a community what art is. And I don't think that as an audience, we care or we want perfection. I think we want originality.
For sure.
We do.
For sure.
I think we
We
want
do.
connection. So I
Yes.
want to empower these artists. That's why I want them to meet our community. That's why I want to have these like parties and mixers where the artists get to meet the audience.
Yes.
Because I want them looking for the originality of, I met that soprano and now I see her. I don't, it's not just experiencing this art that was created hundreds of years ago and like watching it in a bubble. These are people in 2023 who've just lived through the pandemic with you. These are people who've seen the world, the same world that you have seen, and they want to share this art with you. That's what's tremendous about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a natural problem of having been around for centuries. You know, like jazz is having a similar problem. It's been around for 100 years. Where is jazz going? How do you keep the tradition but still keep it modern? You know, hip hop is doing the same thing. We have our original OG KRS-One, and you know, and how does that translate to now? How do we keep that art going without it getting boring? All those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's similar. I get it.
Yes.
So you said you were performing for over 10 years.
Yes.
When's the last time you sang opera?
The last professional performance that I did was in 2020. I sang Leonora in Il Trovatore by Verdi.
Okay.
It's like a beast. It's so intense. And a lot of the work that I would have to do in opera was like, I was always the woman who sacrificed herself. I was always like, it's, you know, those bummer stories. Like, we got a lot of bummer stories
And you're
in
having to
opera.
put yourself in that space.
Yeah.
And think about similarly too now when we have contemporary operas that tell stories of, for example, police brutality, and you have to go back to that space every day to tell that story. Are we giving our artists the support that we need? Are we giving our communities the support that they need to process that? Right?
I'm going to keep being annoying. To your point.
That'll never change.
To your point. Like, so I'm a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
And
Are you?
I have
You
literally...
have to stop.
I have and I'm in the middle of recording a very dark song right now. The song's done, but the video is being recorded. And I have to be in a certain space to do that properly. I can't wait to get out of that space and do and record. And like, even my last project was really heavy. And as soon as I get done with this thing, I'm going to do a lot of much more lighthearted, just totally different vibe. Because for me too, I'm not saying my personality. These things need to be said, but I don't want to be in a constant dark space. So I get it. You know what I mean?
You know what's
Absolutely.
interesting? I love being in the dark spaces.
I love that for you.
Like when I wrote a song that I released in 2020 called IFLS, I Feel Like Shit. And when I wrote that song, I sang it over and over and over again until I burst into tears. And every time I sing it, I'm in love. Like I'm in heaven. Anytime I sing a dark song, I am in heaven. So
what does that release in you? What do you feel when you're singing like that?
I feel heard.
I think that's the blues, you know? The way that some people connect to the blues. Like my mom does not want to hear the blues ever because it makes her feel sad. Other people love the blues because singing the blues gets their blues out. I think it's just two different things.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know what I mean?
I think also some people are scared of emotion. I think some people are scared of the darkness.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they're scared of like too much joy, right? So it's like those extremes. So they live in kind of the gray.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about theater and opera and experiencing these things. Because I want you to come and experience this, a heightened emotion.
Yes.
I want you to experience really big things, really in a space where you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are also experiencing that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, like I think that we, as a culture, have been thinking about art as something that is just to be observed. I think it's something that we're supposed to feel.
We treat it like
and
it's
experience.
disposable. We
Yes.
treat it like we don't need it. Like, that's incredible.
Right?
Wow.
Are we a family
brain
now?
is-
Have we
We are.
bonded?
Yes, for sure. I'm answering my own question that I asked to you, but I think the reason, the main thing that I personally like opera specifically is because there's no mics.
There's no mics.
It's direct connection.
And you know, this is an important thing to say, because
I think you just like being loud. But aside from that.
Oh, she won't. I'm always loud. I'm a big mouth, but so.
Same. I know what I'm about. I know what I bring to the table. So
my
ears
ears don't hurt talking to you. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use my radio
Like if you see how we adjust our mics, like like I have to.
Yep.
Yes, but that is what's so cool, what you were describing before, of like being in the audience and hearing someone sing and feeling the power of the orchestra, right? Like all these instrumentalists playing together who have trained so hard, who like are sawing away, playing beautifully, playing with all of this passion, a conductor going wild, and these singers with no microphones, with no amplification, acting in these period costumes. And like, right? Dressed like it's Bridgerton, dressed like, you know, like doing these traditional productions.
I'm having a flashback.
Moving around in corsets and like, but everything, it's so much that's all to come, but at the foundation, it's no microphones, unamplified the human voice, just connecting my voice to your body. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you get to wear a wig?
Oh my God, I've worn so many wigs.
She's gonna be an opera singer next year.
I have worn so many wigs. So many, just great wigs.
Guys, you might see me
in a wig.
So, but seriously, what if somebody watches this and they're like, if they are a singer, right? They're like, I want to try that. Can they come here?
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Great question.
We have.
Let me get my notepad.
A chorus.
You can just go back and
at
listen. This is being recorded and it will air.
Okay, so in our season, we do main stage operas, right?
Okay.
We do main stage operas at the Grand that have opera choruses.
Okay.
Our opera chorus is paid, so it's not like a volunteer opera chorus.
Okay.
You audition for it.
Oh.
You get, I'm not even gonna lie and say that I know the exact amount of money, but it's more than I got paid singing in choruses when I was coming up.
Yep.
But it's like a little community.
Yes.
Like they all hang out and they love on each other. So what I wanna say is, if you think that you're interested in this, and even if you're not classically trained, auditions at operade.org. Send us a message, because if you sing in a community choir, if you sing in your church, I can teach you Italian. I can teach you enough Italian to be in an opera chorus. I need people who sing with passion and enthusiasm. I need people who want to come and like be a joyful presence on the stage. That's who I want in my opera chorus. That's who we have in our opera chorus. I want to amplify that. Okay.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Wait, do you have to read music?
Listen, this is a great question.
Don't crush my dreams.
I think that I have worked at companies.
You got a good ear.
I got a great ear.
I have worked at companies where they have taught the chorus music by ear.
Okay.
Where they've made like recordings of, here's the language, it requires more work on all of our parts.
Yeah.
I think that work is worth it.
Yes.
I think that work is, because for you to get to experience it
Yep.
and fall in love with it, the people that you would bring, your kids, the people in your community that you would welcome, that you would champion, like, this is a space for us.
Yeah.
That makes the difference. That's worth the investment of time.
And like however you slice it, just from me personally, I'm well, in as much as I stopped singing formal opera, that the core of me, people are like, how can you sing so long, so loud? Because of that technique.
That technique, that training.
That's all that is. It's nothing more than that. So that's the other value for anyone. Like anyone, I think anyone should spend some time with it because of what you're going to get out of it, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, since you asked us off camera, how long have we been around?
Yes.
So one of the things that I made sure of when I met with Jay, when we were starting Naj and Jay, like, we had to get to know each other. And he'll tell you today, just like he would have told you back then, I'm a wuss. I'm a big wuss.
But no.
But little by little, I have conquered different fears.
I love
and
that.
I have been able to mark things off my list of what I want to do, but I was always afraid to do. I was recently a Disney princess, and that was always a dream of mine. Now, I'm going to audition.
So you're going to be now we got to get her singing the Queen of the Night aria. And you know what that is.
I don't know what that is. That's the one that I dreamed to sing about. So I'm saying it right here.
We're gonna work on it.
I'm gonna audition for the opera.
Let's go.
I'm gonna wear a wig, and I'm gonna pack my powder.
Go.
Can I wear a bird on my shoulder?
Anything that you
What in
want.
the world?
Isn't there an opera with a bird? Got some
There are
birds.
operas with everything, but yes, honey, you can be the opera singer who just comes in with a little bird on your shoulder. I love that for you.
Jay, watch out now.
I'm watching.
Because then we're going to be evenly yoked. Like, we're going to be right neck and neck.
I'm not competing.
I'm going to get me a camera. I'm going to learn how to use my camera that I got.
Okay.
And sound equipment. I'm going to be singing opera.
Good.
She's going to teach me to sing Italian.
Please do. Italian, mainly.
Y'all ain't going to know where hit you, okay?
We're gonna take over.
I support
They're
this
not ready.
completely. 100%. Please do.
When's the next event? Because me and Jay need to get our prom best.
So I would love for y'all to be at this pop-up opera at Independence Mall.
Yes.
On June 4th, this wine tasting, very casual, a nice chance to get a little day drink on, enjoy some great opera, hear more about our upcoming season because we're gonna be announcing it at the beginning of June.
Okay.
The event at Snuff Mill is hella fancy and people are gonna get very dressed up for it.
Yeah.
But she had a high price point because it's only
Okay.
30 tickets available for that.
Yes.
But what I want y'all to I want you to mark your calendar now.
Okay.
Opening night of our fall opera. This is in late October.
Yep.
We're gonna have our opening night micro gala again. We're gonna have our red carpet runway photo shoot.
Gotcha.
We're gonna have poker and blackjack. We're all gonna get dressed up. We're gonna dress the way that we wanna be seen. We're gonna wear what makes us feel dope and beautiful and awesome. We're gonna have a great time right over at the Grand Opera House, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna see an opera together as a community.
That's dope.
So I want everybody in this community marking those calendars. Twice a
Yes.
year, you
Yes.
get opening night micro galas with Opera Delaware. October and May, be there.
I'm going. We're going to straighten your hair so you can look like Vampire in Brooklyn.
No, listen. Like,
And go to the opera.
you guys really like. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but like, you got to do a Bridgerton theme something. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
God, right?
Like, you have to. You
Oh my
have
God.
to. Because especially because Bridgerton is so inclusive of different
Yes.
shades.
Can I
you know
be
what I'm
Lady
saying?
Danbury?
Yes.
You be like, listen.
I've never-
Post-husband, after the husband.
Yeah.
I'm going to be free Lady Danbury.
Oh no.
Yes. I love this.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, come on, it's perfect.
Oh my God, we're going.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm 100% in.
I cannot wait to go
It's
shopping.
gonna be so fun. This is what I'm saying. And like, people came, go to operade.org.
Okay.
Go to the website, look at pictures from the micro gala. I'm talking people in opera gloves. I'm talking
The
like,
satin gloves?
yes.
And I got ugly
I'm
hands,
talking-
baby. We about to.
Yes, baby. I'm talking like formal. Everybody was dressed to the nines, not in the most expensive thing, but in the thing that made them feel the best.
Oh my God.
The thing that made them feel beautiful and sexy and cool and interesting and that they wanted to be seen and right?
I love it.
That's opera,
So I
baby.
can come like a biker.
No.
Okay, you're invited to the opera.
You will not ruin this for me.
Because, but anyway.
You know what? We'll pull like, we'll do you like Chadwick Boseman at the Met Gala.
I did
What did
that.
he have?
He was a little, he was in the style, but still had his own swag.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll find some motorbike, cycle
Okay.
swag
I'm into it.
I just want to be
with the
authentic.
opera
I just wanna be myself.
chic.
Yes.
Okay.
Be
That's me.
authentic, be comfortable.
Yes.
So many people who sit in an opera if they only do it one time and they're not made to feel like wear whatever you want and
Yeah.
express yourself however you want. Then they wear a suit or something that makes them uncomfortable.
It doesn't
and they
suit them.
And they
Oh God.
And there it is. And there's the tagline.
Sorry, no, sorry.
But I want people to like have fun. I want you to wear
Yes.
something that you're comfortable in. I want you to like have a little champagne.
Yeah.
I want you to like know that you can clap and laugh and say bravo and brava
Okay.
and
Okay.
engage.
Brava. Brava.
Yes.
So will there be snacks?
Yes, snacks.
I just
There
wanna make sure I
are
can eat.
there's intermission. There's bars.
Okay.
There is a feast at the opening night micro gala.
Oh, nice.
There
We
is
like
a
to eat.
feast
No,
at
that's
the
what
opening
I'm-
micro
yes.
gala. Okay, you're
Okay.
gonna eat.
Okay.
Because I'm not just gonna have everybody just a couple of champagnes deep and then go to see the opera. Also, I would like you to have maybe
Yes.
a sandwich, maybe
Okay.
some cannolis. So
Okay.
we get like a beautiful little Italian spread.
Okay.
It is a vibe. And then in the show, here's the great thing about operas. We do an act, maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. It's like you're watching a TV show. We take a 15-minute break,
Yes.
an intermission. You go get a drinky drink, you go get a snack, you go to the bathroom, right? You do what you need to do. And then we come back. So even when people think that opera is like this super, super long night, it's broken up with these
Yes.
with these other things that you can do, that makes it easier.
If you can go to your local rap concert, when they have like 10 different headliners and stand the entire time, you can watch it.
Trust me, you can sit in an
walk
opera
out with your ears ringing.
Listen, okay, and they don't have half the time. They don't have intermissions, and it's 4 hours long.
I promise you an intermission.
Your eyes burning because of the smoke.
Opera won't give you tinnitus. How about that?
That is my guarantee.
That's great. Wait, I really want to make sure that I hit this because we were talking about it also beforehand.
Yeah.
So everybody, listen. This is the point that me and Naj and I keep trying to make. This woman is, number one, a top-notch singer, okay?
She is a singer.
Yes.
Who is from New York, and everyone...
Wait, you gotta say it how she said it.
Long Island.
She's from Long Island.
Long Island.
And everyone puts New York justifiably on a certain cultural pedestal, right? Please explain to the people. We're not going to say it. We're from here, so you know that we're kind of biased.
We're the broken records.
Why is Delaware dope?
Listen, I'm gonna scooch in.
There we go.
I gotta tell you, America.
Talk to the people. Talk to the people.
I lived all over the country. I have never, as soon as I got here to Delaware, I fell in love with these people. These people, but these people, this community of people, right? There's so much curiosity.
Yeah.
There's so much interest in the arts. There's so much interest in community. But we still think, we have this mindset that you gotta go to Philly or New York or DC to experience art that is of value. And I got to tell you, that is the wrong mentality to have in a city that is thriving in the arts the way that Wilmington is.
Wow.
In a state where the arts can have the impact that it can have like Delaware does.
Yes.
Right? So we need to champion the arts in our own community. We need to be curious about the arts that are going on in our own community.
Yes.
Go out and see performances. Honestly, I would love for you to come and see the opera. I would love for everyone to come and see the opera. Go to see the ballet. Go to see Delaware Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Right? Go to see the theater company perform. Go to the art museum. Go to the Delaware Contemporary. Go and experience art with some people and talk about it and feel some feelings. And it's going to make you closer as a family and closer as a community.
Yes.
Delaware is a hub for all of these people to come together. People should be flocking to us. You don't have to go to a big city for art. People should come here for the community that our art can create.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add? Because that was perfect.
Listen, check the website, operade.org. You better come to the opera. You better come to the opera.
We coming. I'm gonna be in the opera one day. Watch me.
Yes.
Watch me.
I'm gonna bum rush the stage. I might know what the parts are.
Listen.
I might know the parts.
I can't bring Yara because Yara end up running on stage to get her to be an opera singer.
I'm putting her center stage the first time I meet her.
Child, she gonna be it. She gonna be it. So really quickly, because I was thinking about it, what are some opera singer cliches?
Oh, I love that. Okay. Opera singer cliches. You know, we always say it's not over till the fat lady sings. There's just an idea of what an opera singer looks like.
Yes. That's what that's
kind of like with Viking horns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is definitely a misconception.
Okay.
People picture opera singers as being a specific body type, but typically white, typically European. And as we've spoken about, there have been incredible black and brown opera singers throughout. There are incredible operas that are being written in Spanish that are about the black diaspora, that are for that, right? So opera singers come in as many shades and colors and shapes as anyone else in our society. We also seem to think that that when opera singers are performing, if we keep it like that really perfect, that's what audiences want.
Right.
We touched on this a little bit before. I would say that that's a cliche that opera is perfect. Opera is not perfect. Opera is art. Art is not perfect. Art is dope.
Yes.
Opera is dope. Opera is like a creative, we're creating it together. It's not something that just like lives in a...
It's about to be opera dope-aware, you know what I'm saying?
They're not ready for the branding. They're not ready for the branding.
I just want to say, what is your boss's name?
Brendan.
Brendan, I just want you to know, sir, CEO, boss. That, we get percentage of that.
No.
When you put that on T-shirts, we get a percentage. Just want to put that out there.
Finder's fee for that
There
slogan.
you go. All right.
I love that.
Just wanted to put that out there as the business person of Nasha J.
Literally.
I love that. I think, yeah, it's a cliche that there's a right way to perform, that
Yeah.
like singers are supposed to be perfect. There's a cliche that there's a right way to be in the audience. There's a cliche that you're supposed to, and this is something that we are really engaging with our community and talking about. All the singers want is for you to have fun. All they want is for you to laugh or cry or interact. They want you to feel something. They don't want you sitting there
Which
tight and
again
uncomfortable.
is what all singers want in all
Right.
genres.
All artists want.
Yeah.
We all want to connect.
Yeah.
So it's not, we have to break down this like veneer of perfection between us and just be vulnerable and create art that connects us as people.
Do people throw tomatoes?
No, people do not throw tomatoes. In Europe, they are very sassy. They will boo you out of an opera house.
Hey man,
They will. I'm
the Apollo.
sure that they will throw. It is very the Apollo vibes in Europe. In America, people don't throw anything because you would have to first of all throw it over the pit. Which I'm saying this is a disclaimer: do not throw anything on the opera stage. Do not throw anything in the pit because people will get hurt. It's very, very dangerous. Please do not do it. Please do not do
Plus
it.
Philly will fight you.
Don't
But-
Listen. Okay. And you get on the right side of Wilmington, they'll fight you too.
Plus that black baritone is from North Side, so don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
You better watch it. I love it. I mean, I'm very much for it. People used to throw flowers on stage at the end.
Yes.
People used to, we love to, I love people like coming up and meeting the singers after and giving them flowers and giving them, and I think that can happen by having this process of our artists and our audience getting to meet each other beforehand.
Yeah.
Right? Like someone who works at JP Morgan Chase, meeting an artist here and kind of falling head over heels for them and bringing them roses at opening night is going to make their year. It's going to make them feel so connected to Wilmington. It's going to make them, the artists who are tremendous, who sing all over the world, want to come back here.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing. We should be making artists want to come here to us.
All we've been saying the whole time.
We are going to break this barrier between us and Le Opera. No, sit. No.
Oh, where's he going? Where's he going now?
What do you think you're doing?
I just want to take a hammer and bring each and every one down just to free.
And that's the theme song.
You can't give me a piano.
How many years? How many years have you been doing
This
this?
has been the most fun interview we've had in like a year.
Good.
Are you kidding me?
First of many.
You know,
Next time we don't invite our boy.
Right. I got kicked out the party.
hi, child. I can't. I cannot. I am so embarrassed. No, but we are so thankful for this opportunity to come here and see this beautiful space. Number one, they in the cut. Okay, I had no idea this was over here. And then she did a magic trick with the windows, and it just was like, it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And then to learn what I've learned in speaking with you, I'm very excited for everyone to know about it. And I know our people. Come on, Jay, do it.
Listen, I'm doing it too.
Yeah.
You're my people now too.
Y'all are gonna support, you're gonna come out, and you're gonna learn something new. You're gonna hang out.
That's
So
right.
thank you.
That's right. Thank
Thank you. This was
Thank
really
you both
fun.
so much. It was my
Yes.
absolute pleasure. Anytime.
Bam!